Hello, kindergarten and first grade of Lantern Road. Enjoy this book that pairs nicely with our study of snow spirals as we prepare our Art to Remember pieces. Make sure you're looking throughout the pictures I share from the book for those art elements about which we are experts now. Join me in a reading of A Snowman Named Just Bob. The illustrations are quite nice, and they are by a lady named Karen Hillard Crouch, and the book is written by Mark Kimball Moulton. It was late that one Thanksgiving when Bob first came to me, a joyful day of food and fun with friends and family. And you can already see what looks like the start of a snowy sky. Our watercolor will look very much like this in our sky because that's the same media or art tool that this illustrator used. We had feasted well, as I recall, on Mother's fine cooked fare, then settled down to rest a while and nap without a care. No one knew what was to be as daylight grew quite dim, that soon our lives would change so much simply because of him. The weatherman reported no snow was due that night, but as we slept, the clouds rolled in, obscuring all the light. And though the weatherman had tried, he never could have said just what was forming in the sky directly overhead. The moon grew bright, then disappeared, then broke into a laugh. The stars began to dance a jig. The clouds split in half. In retrospect, I do believe that magic came that night. No ordinary storm, you see, could stir up such a sight. I'm going to need to show this sort of in a banner type way. Check out these swirls of clouds and stars, snowflakes. Very much like what we're putting in our Art to Remember piece. The sky began to whip around, then settled on its way. The wind skipped lightly through the trees, inviting me to play. It took a while, but late that eve, a tiny snowflake fell. There's some swirls and spirals, the type at which we are already great at drawing. It may sound odd, but this is true. You could almost feel the smell. There was a freshness in the country air on that November night as one flake turned into many and spread a cloak of white. Just when it seemed the storm might pass, or at least be mild, the moon came out and gave a wink, then stood back and smiled. And this is when I dare to say that Bob first came to be, as peace fell lightly like a robe over every hill and tree. He fell upon my windowsill. He landed in my hair. He frosted all my neighbors' homes and blew throughout the air. Now we can see some flakes of snow the way this artist decided to share them. And after all the mystery, I hoped that I would view a friendly face among those flakes, providing me a clue. The snow took on an eerie cast, first pink, then blue, then gold. Then anxious little whirlwinds leaped around my feet, so bold. 'Twas then I heard a whisper, so gentle, soft, and kind. He wanted me to help him. Of course I wouldn't mind. To gather up those many flakes and roll them in a ball till he could be and be with me in shape and form and all. But Bob, I cried, I just don't know where you are in all of this, 'cause all of you is everywhere throughout this snowiness. You're scattered over everything. So how do I begin to gather all your goodness and make a perfect friend? There are great snow spirals and flakes in this illustration, so I'm going to pause it for a second and just hold it for you to see. I didn't want to show that one as fast. That's a nice example. Suddenly the whisper stopped. Sir Moon then took a bow. He bestowed upon me this message that I offer to you now. Friendship is a simple thing. The clue is just to start, as long as it is built on trust and love from in your heart. And that's a perfect message for the start of the school year. Even though it's a bit strange to talk about snow while it's still sunny and warm outside. I ran into my mother's house to wake those sleepy folk and bid them come and help me to roll and pat and poke and build that grand old snowman and do a right good job to bring to life my special friend, a snowman named just Bob. We laughed and sang and ran about, and Bob began to be. We gathered up what we would need. Everything was free. Some coal for eyes, a carrot nose, some sticks, a scarf, a hat, a smile so wide it warmed your heart, a coat, and that was that. Notice the snowy sky because of the watery paint and watery paper. And in the border around just Bob, many snow spirals. Perhaps you think so far that magic ruled the day. So far it will seem like nothing to what was on its way. For this is when our new friend Bob decided to awake. He opened up his twinkling eyes. His belly, it did shake. Bob's open eyes and his shaking belly. His voice I do remember was something of a dream, his countenance so pleasing, unearthly it did seem. And though you might be doubtful, a talking friend made out of snow, this is what we heard from Bob. He wanted us to know. You've given me my eyes so I might see and blink, a mouth, a hat, a carrot nose so I can speak and think. The scarf indeed is cozy, it's sure to keep me warm. And thank you all for giving me, pardon me, such a shapely form. I hope it snows aplenty, so I might stay and share in all of your loving friendship, your thoughtful, tender care. But when it warms, or if in spring you miss that I'm not near, just put a sign in your front yard that reads, "Just Bob was here." Well, that was it. 'Twas all Bob said that dreamy starry night. He said his piece, he closed his eyes, yet everything seemed right. We all joined in celebration, for his message was quite clear. Just like all good faithful friends, Bob is always near. And I'll give you a moment to check the snow spirals in this illustration. Bob was here. I like sharing books with fine illustrations to help point out our art elements, especially when they match a project that we are doing in the classroom or at home. I also love to share quality illustrations so that you understand that is a career as an artist in which you might be interested in pursuing, and I can help you get started with that. Thank you for listening to this story. Make sure you follow the exit ticket and rate the book. Submit a picture of your rating.